Hello, K-12 blended and online learning participants. I'm wearing my red, white, and blue in support of Team USA in the Sochi Winter Olympics. I hope this year's games prove to be the joyous international celebration that they always do. Moving beyond sports to our business at hand, I want to congratulate all of you on succeeding in Week 5. This is our 5th wrap-up video for our class, and I want to address what happened in our course this week. This week was not for the casual learner. Each of you are working hard with every intention of achieving learning objectives that we've set out to accomplish. So I'm impressed. In fact, we kept more students than I anticipated. We still have over 600 active participants in the course. This week, we asked you to design a syllabus for a blended or online class. Now I know this was challenging, but we've had great feedback on the value of this assignment. I was really delighted to see such positive feedback because we haven't even got to my favorite assignment yet, which is the development of a learning module. It'll come in Week 7. This week we had one issue that kept creeping up. Many of you were having trouble submitting your syllabus due to technical issues. We found that just using a different browser typically solved the problem, and some of you decided to just link a public Google document. As a group, you're clearly excellent problem solvers. Anytime you have trouble with the LMS, it's nice to let me know about it, but it's critical that you contact Coursera about it. I wish I had a strong background in computer code, but what I know is self-taught and shaky at best. Starting tomorrow, you're going to begin your peer evaluations of the work submitted by your classmates. Our goal is not to play gotcha or be overly critical. Be constructive. If you can't access a link, try cutting and pasting the link's text into your browser. Help your classmates out wherever you can. We want to be sure everyone completed the assignment in a way that fit their individual situation best. In some cases, a policy I wrote in the sample syllabus was an ideal statement for your syllabus. It's appropriate to quote that and state where you copied it from. And it's certainly fine to quote from any of the text in the course. As a peer evaluator, please be understanding of this. Of course, turning in the entire sample syllabus as your own would not be acceptable, but I don't believe that anyone would try that. So outside of that specific situation, go ahead and allow your peers' work to include quotes from the course, including the sample. The peer evaluation period opens on Monday, and you can find it simply by returning to the same location you uploaded your own syllabus. You must complete all the peer evaluations in order for your syllabus to count. Keep in mind that by evaluating your peers' work, you're actively learning. Do you remember that evaluating is pretty high up on Bloom's taxonomy? This week, Week 6, you'll continue to do the introductory work of K-12 blended and online teachers, so don't lose that thinking cap. The cognitive load of this course is going to stay heavy for another 2 weeks. Remember that I recommend for those of you who are new to website creation to continue playing with tools like Weebly, Wikispaces, and Google Sites. I'll ask you to use a web development tool of your choice in Week 7. At that time, I will provide links to some external tutorials, but teaching web creation will not be the focus of that week's assignment. It's good to get started practicing now, if possible. In the forums this week, the pace was much slower than our first 4 weeks. In fact, some of our most vocal classmates didn't make an appearance this week. While we're sad that we can't retain everyone, we're happy to see that the quality of the interaction this week was consistent. Very few of those simple "me too" posts. Your discussion was very meaty. Now, I want to point out some great threads. Mary Smith discussed how her syllabus doesn't provide a traditional grading scale because her students only earn a pass or incomplete as a measure of whether they've mastered the objective. This is a really great point that Mary makes. In fact, her post makes me wonder if traditional grades of A, B, C, D, F will even continue to exist as competency-based education becomes a reality, facilitated by the personalized pacing offered by online learning environments. James Long shared a strategy he used with his students to co-create online communication policies. He set up an Edmodo quiz that required his students to choose between accepting the policies that they co-created and getting the right to post in the online community, or rejecting the co-constructed policies and having limited rights to post within that community. I thought James was very clever in his design. It sounds like a strategy that many of you could incorporate. Katya Haeckel discussed how meaningful it was to create a syllabus. She believes this assignment really should help her score higher on the INACOL self-assessment, which you will get to take again in week 8. I was really happy to see Sonia Bulat and Danica Juriskovic start a thread in Serbian so that they could really focus on the content and meaning of the course assignment this week. I was also impressed when classmates like Cassandra Schott offered to proofread Sonia's syllabus. Also, Teresa Grubb jumped in to calm any worries, stating that she would peer review by looking for what required items were listed in the checklist, not judging the quality of English. I want to say thank you to everyone who posted in these threads, and like Teresa, I hope all of you will be helpful to our English language learners in your peer evaluations. The evaluation checklist does not specify a certain level of English proficiency. I really appreciate how welcoming and encouraging you have all been to our international community. While I can't respond to each individually in the discussion forums, those of you on Twitter or Edmodo are still having great luck at getting your questions directly to me, so keep them coming. I also appreciate those of you who find that your classmates need my attention, and so you make an extra effort to grab my attention on Twitter. It's very effective. Any of you can tweet me directly at Loki Vega, and I saw most of those posts using one of our course hashtags. Most of our interaction on Twitter this week really addressed questions you had about the syllabus. I was able to get those answers to you right away. If you haven't joined one of our social media tools, it's not required for this class, but it is a great way to feel more connected. I want to publicly thank our guest expert this past week, Daniel Gagnon. Many of you were very busy with developing your syllabi. However, Daniel took several questions about technologies for the blended classroom. I really appreciate Daniel joining us this week and providing us with so many great ideas. This upcoming week, Dr. Jared Borup will be our guest expert. He's an assistant professor at George Mason University. He's a rising expert in the field of K-12 blended and online teaching. If you have questions about best practice or current research in the field, he would be a great person to reach out to and connect with. So reach out to him at Jared Borup, which is spelled out in our Week 6 instructions. Week 6 will resemble last week. In Week 6, you have only a few videos to watch, and there's no quiz, actually. Once again, we're stretching to the highest levels of learning, and you need to set aside 10 hours to complete your assignments. After your success this past week, I know you can do this. You've gained all the knowledge you need to in the previous 5 weeks. We're continuing to make use of that knowledge this week. This week, you'll complete your second active assignment, a unit for a blended or online classroom. Now, you'll start with a unit overview, and then you'll also plan at least one lesson within that unit. Choose the topic of your unit carefully. It is nice if the same unit you mentioned in your syllabus was also in your unit design, but this is not required. You can change it up if you like. However, you will be developing the lesson that you plan within this unit. That's right, later in week 7, you'll actually create a module of instruction based on what you designed this week. Now, the template is long, but you don't have to complete the entire template. Let me say that again. The template is long, but you do not have to complete the entire template. This is explained in the unit plan example. Read the example very carefully before trying to design your own unit, or you'll feel lost. I designed the template to help scaffold the process of instructional design without actually giving you a full course on instructional design. So the template and example are very important once again. You also have a self-evaluation checklist to check your own work with. You'll only need to spend about 1 to 2 hours with the course materials and discussion forum this week. You're going to invest your time in writing your unit plan. You need to carefully read the example, slowly start adding content to your unit plan template. I suggest starting with the sections you find easiest. And then check your work as you go using the evaluation checklist. To get extra help or to ask peers to give it a look, you're welcome to post a link to a draft in Google Docs or your questions in our optional discussion forum for the unit plan. Also, you can find help using our new and optional synchronous tool, Office Hours. Information about this tool is still linked back in Week 5 instructions, and we'll also post a link in this week's instructions. Like last week, your friends can still join the class, however, not for the purpose of earning a statement of accomplishment. They're welcome to join and complete any portion of the course they like just for the sake of learning. If you have friends who want to be able to earn the statement of accomplishment, then they may want to watch the class to be notified when it will be offered again. Once again, I want to thank my teaching team, Jordan, Josie, and Angie, for a fantastic week. I especially want to thank each of you for joining our community. I look forward to hearing from you in the discussion forums, Twitter, Edmodo, and now in Office Hours. Have a great week 6, and I hope you take a moment to enjoy the Sochi Winter Olympics. Bye, everyone.